everyone, welcome. My name is Sheep Thief, and today I'll be coming at you with a WARNO 1v1 online multiplayer gameplay replay review. Today I'll be joined by Happy McChicken. So this is one of the first games I've played of WARNO in a long time. I lost a ton of games right before this, but I sort of got my act together in this one, and I won't say whether or not I win or lose, but at the very least I play a little better. I'm up against 101st Airborne, which is heavy on the helicopters, and for this reason I go heavy on the Screzits with the Iglas in them. I've got one forward rocket helicopter going forward to try to cause some trouble. This isn't an amazing map for me, but it's not a totally amazing map for him either. His helo push is going to be stronger. But yeah, a bunch of Humvees actually. Just one Chinook. Looks like his jammer helo wasn't given orders. He goes forward with a CV. And Delta squads going forward. Some starting supply, some tows. I think the tow 2 is maybe overkill against my division. We will hide the panel. Start with a plane as well. So at this point I'm pretty worried about a, I started with the plane, and I'm pretty worried about a helo rush at this point. I gotta say my micro here wasn't too bad. He got on my tail, but then I kinda spun it around. We both get to the field at around the same time. I wanna say he's a little faster. Delta squad gets in here. Chinooks with the Aero Scouts into here. Screzit takes out the jammer helo. Pretty nice there. My forward helo lands here and dies. Was not microing it, I was worried about this other stuff. These 30mm grenade launchers unload. Big exchange of fire. Looks like I kind of win the city. And he, I would say, wins these two, the center and the left flank over here. These grenade launchers are going to do very well against the Aero Scouts, even at this close range. And I'm a little worried about the Chinook. I think at this point I'm feeling, you can see I'm kind of breaking down. I'm not microing my commander, which could be getting me a tick here. But it's not the end of the world, and as these helicopters come off the ground, they're going to die to the Screzits and the Iglas. This OP Spetsnaz over here kills several units, definitely paying for itself. It's only 60 points to get that out on the field. 30mm grenade launchers are definitely showing their worth here, pushing off a Humvee. Spetsnaz GRU try to push the Delta. Pretty close fight there, both down to one unit, I believe. Yeah, this grenade launcher wins against that Humvee. OP Spetsnaz get into a fight with the Delta. That's not a good fight for them. So I pull him back here to try to get more vehicles. If he gets too aggressive. And now I think he is feeling the pain of having spent so much on helicopters and air in the beginning, because even though I think his opening was a little stronger, he just has less material on the field. So let's see what he brings out next. I've got my commander finally microing, you know, 2.5 minutes late. We've got Afghansi coming in to support with infantry fighting and some supply, because we've taken some kind of weird trades in here. I pushed Spetsnaz forward to clear out this Delta. I really like taking the center city in here, because it opens up not amazing, but little tendrils of paths into these other places. So you can attack into here, you can support this for a push into here. It protects these two really. It's also defensive. But as you can see here, he's piling up in this spot, which is usually sort of coveted on this map because of its vision, sort of central location. This spot on the other side of what I was just talking about kind of pressures in here and in here. So if I can take this and this spot in here, I've got the center of the map control. He's got a tow 2 here that's being annoying, and he does pull out artillery, 155mm. I set up Spetsnaz in here. I think I had the Spetsnaz there in the beginning, but I'm kind of setting up in here because if I can push up to this, then we can have sort of a two-pronged attack into this complex over here, which is usually taken by this player on this side of the map. OP Spetsnaz get caught out by the Delta, and then a heavy, isn't that a Cobra? Takes it out. So some good trades for him. Kind of clearing some stuff up. This is solidly his. I send a sort of Hail Mary rocket helo over here to try to lock this down just in case he hasn't. Maybe a little wishful thinking at this stage in the game. Spetsnaz push forward. They're not supported by air support. This is my main fear here. He does have a defensive Cobra ready to go. This will wipe out my squads pretty consistently. Bad air trade there. I suppose he takes some damage. He does fly over the Iglas and gets wounded but not killed. Not ideal. I send a sniper and an Igla over here to try to keep the pressure on over here. I'm still at this point in the match unsure of how I'm going to proceed. It was not a great opening for me at all. So I have to attack, which is what you sort of don't want to have happen, but this is a very open map, so you got to do it sometimes. Somewhat good timing here, not intentional, but the Igla and the Skrezet open up on the Cobra. It does go down. The Moto Rozvedka open up here. Their helicopter goes down, and they're just in a sort of bad position. If they could have gotten straight into that building, there might have been a chance, but there's also a helicopter over there. I try to push these forward to take it on. But this Delta here is going to be a problem. So a bit of a lull here. He's at a +2. I know I have to do something or he's going to get a head start, which will give him a lot of confidence, and what I really don't want him to have at all is any confidence. I think that 35th, these parachutist divisions are very reliant on like breaking down your opponent's will to fight, usually by means of pure spam. So I do get my VP in there, kind of just in the nick of time, because if I had waited, you know, 10 or 20 more seconds, he would have a score lead that would equal a win. If it gets up to 299, then he'll be ahead enough to get a win. For now, we can settle it at a tie, which can be very demoralizing, and for me, it's what I need. I am in no position to attack just yet. I mean, well, let's see. No, this could not take all of that out, and it lacks airs. AA. This Eagle needs to move up. This Crescent needs to move up. I do take out the Cobra, so now maybe it could be done. He comes in after the MiG-29, and it... can't remember. It does escape. He takes a little bit of damage to my Igla and the Spetsnaz, and so I guess here, good timing on my part. I push forward with the Spetsnaz, and this is a decent fight. Afghansi were involved in the fight. They need to push up here now. Snipers moving up into here, which will provide support and pretty good vision, but a nice high explosive bombing run evens the playing field a little bit and makes me panic. I pull everything back. In retrospect, I should have kept the sniper there. For some reason, that looked like artillery at the moment in the game and just now, so I thought it was an artillery barrage. But yeah, it's been a while since I've played, and my general sense of what's going on is not at 100%. The state of the map is, I'd say, still pretty even. I think with every passing minute, his ability to entrench increases. I think I've taken some quite favorable trades here. That was a good attack here, and I'm pulling back here and resupplying, so it'll be up to him to resupply. He does have a supply thing here, so that's well done on his part. It's definitely relying on artillery to try to cause more troubles for me. I'm trying to kind of level this in here. Over here is a big investment of units considering how little I have over here. So this is good for me, unless he wraps it around, which is what he should be doing. He should be pushing right now. I think that's also common wisdom, but much easier to say than to actually do in a game, as you can probably see here with my lack of pushing. Another +1 for him, putting him into victory territory. So Afghanistan pushes forward. These units are way better now. They have an AT weapon, making them, in my opinion, much more useful. Getting a little aggressive here with it, but I think I saw that there were a bunch of weak units in there. Screzzik comes forward, does go down to the toe too. Afghanistan opens up. And a toe cobra, where without the toe cobra, I think this Afghanistan might actually like have a chance of like definitely killing that. I don't know if I finally. I think I'm microing that right there. So I do put some units in here, and then get a supply helicopter in here. This is taking longer than I expected to get all healed up. I need to remember to bring out this this mega helicopter. It has like a ton of supply that you can just send these things back and forth and not waste time with them moving all the way up. Afghansi are running away, and I think they barely make it. Yeah. So over here we've got a big blob here. I assume he can see it in retrospect looking at this delta. He pulls out and is about to get lit up. I think he interrupts his own anti-tank round right there. Let's try to keep an eye on both of these things. There are toes over here that are definitely disrupting my ability to get stuff in here, but it's an over-investment in my opinion. I don't know. Desantniki versus Delta Squad. This one's caught out in the open, going to take a lot of damage, but we are 2v1 in this Delta, and its morale is dropping. High explosive bomb run comes, and I remember looking at this and thinking, well, this is exactly what I deserve, but I get pretty lucky and nothing dies, except maybe an Igla. Over here, more exchanges, and a big messy resupply right here in this little park that allows me to push forward once again. A lot of his units are still damaged. This unit isn't being microed properly. It would be destroying right now if it was in that building. We'll see how long it takes for me to amend that. Over here, my units are damaged, but looking but dominant over there. They're very bunched together. I do get this Desantniki in there, which is very good. BMD gets out, goes down. Thankfully the Spetsnaz GRU, which somehow ended up in that, get out. But they aren't fighting, but they're definitely giving me good vision. Over here, I'm trying to kind of spread this out in a panicked way. I should have pulled the BMDs back and tried to like help them out a little bit, but there are a lot of toes here. And there's an arrow rifle leader right over here. My airplay in this game was bad. I think I destroyed some infantry there. So at this point in the match, what I'm still wondering, I'm still wondering at this point in the match which side to attack. I've got a decent amount of material in here, especially in here, which I haven't really committed this forward except for units that have been, I think, fairly cost effective. Like this Afghansi got back, and there have been units, I think, resupplying in here, sort of. Over here, on the other hand, I'm kind of like, well, I'm not really sure what to do. I do have a commander coming forward to try to take it, but you can see how tentative I'm being, and I think rightly so, looking at the situation. In the actual game, I couldn't quite tell how much he had. My AA coverage is improving gradually, but the Eagles are so bad that I am, you can see they're just bad. We do finally take out that Chinook, but we're out of ammo now. Bit of a lull here. Thinking about speeding it up. Maybe even arrow rifles come in. We are now out gunned. I do get the BRDM command unit in there. ATGM comes snaking along right along the side, and I barely get into the forest. Now he's pretty safe. My opponent has the arrow rifles sort of behind in there. He's committing a lot of units over here. MiG-27 comes out, doesn't kill anything, gets hit by a chaparral, and does not go down, but is wounded. He gets the vehicle in there, and I think he sets up for a artillery launch. But this is what I need to get it back to that tie situation, which again is key for both my morale staying up and his morale starting to wither. Spetsnaz push forward, fire off their thermobaric rockets. You can see how much damage those do. That arrow rifles dragon was hit pretty hard by that. You can see what it does to their morale. They're both 0 morale. At this point, barring the Abrams, I think the Spetsnaz would win. But this is a good trade if I can keep the Spetsnaz alive. BMDs push forward to put fire up onto this arrow rifles, but the TOW is going to fire. It's firing at the Afghansky anti-helo unit. Over here, we're down to nothing but the commander. Estrella goes down. This is the end for my operations over here. Over here, the Spetsnaz have done quite well. They've killed an air rifles dragon while under tank and double infantry squad fire. This ATGM gets like the luckiest shot I've ever seen in my life. Spetsnaz, I don't know, do I save it? Tank firing at it. Looks like I'm waiting for the last minute. And our friend here makes it out. Barely. Good play by the Spetsnaz. Considering that all I did was click right click, they served me well. He sends his arrow rifles, but I don't know if I can say this is good, but I did bring it back into Thai territory, so wasn't a complete failure. This TOW is continuing to be an issue. It's firing. It's killed all of my Afghanskis. Yeah, just really good vision on it too. Does he have a scout? How does he see everything? This ATGM is out of position. It does go down. So I think I got a little ahead of myself and thought maybe I could get ATGM set up in here and those Afghan vet anti-helo vehicles set up a little further forward than I really could. A supply unit goes down to the TOW, and it's now out of ammo. This unit has had a good time here. Lieutenant Alvarado is or maybe it'd be like Specialist Alvarado is gonna have some stories to tell. We've got grenade launcher, Conkers, and Afghansky infantry in here securing this. Maybe a little clumped together. Probably better to spread out into these buildings so they don't get hit. But, you know, while there hasn't been some decisive destruction of my opponent here, there has been a deterioration. That looking at this now, it didn't feel like he had this few units, but I can see how he is now. He might now be feeling weak in here, or maybe he doesn't. I would say he has become weak in here. I pull out some of these 120 millimeter mortars. I thought they were mobile, like vehicle based, but these are like manned, so I shouldn't have sold their transports. My goal is now to continue to wither this situation here. One big problem is the tanks, but the OP Spetsnaz do a good job of firing their RPG-29s in on this. High explosive bombing run kills the Desant Niki. The M1A1 Abrams is one hit, and I can see it getting away, and it's making me very mad. So some ATGMs are getting pulled off here. Spetsnaz GRU is in trouble. Let's see if I save it. I think this will be like the third unit that I barely save, and don't, in that case, don't save. So the question is, will this kill that Abrams? No, it looks like it is the laser guided bomb. Laser guided bomb gets wounded though by these chaparrals. Mortar fires coming in. I think maybe I was getting a little cocky about the mortar damage that was being done. This arrow, right? What are they taking damage from? I don't quite understand. What just killed them? Oh, it must have been this thing. Okay, good for this thing. OP Spetsnaz set up in here. Over here you can see I've got a little bit of a ring or a line of eagles here to stop any kind of craziness coming this way. Be rare. I think what would be more common is like some kind of vehicle trying to sneak by here, which would make these eagles useless. So I send these conkers, but I think maybe a way more cost-effective way to do this would be like one eagle and a OP Spetsnaz in here. Maybe. Yeah, not really the best thing I've ever done right there. So a bit of a lull here once again. As you can see, there's a big build up here on the right for him and a big build up on my right for me. So you can see, as happens in this game, a kind of yin-yang scenario. Big artillery bombardment hits this complex in here. What is this thing? Is it like a storage facility? Like a logistics plant or something? I don't know. In here, the city is also getting bombarded a little. Delta pushes across here, along with Aero Scouts, but nothing, not a big coordinated push. It looks like more of a probe. It seems to be stalling here. Lieutenant Berger is seems to be stalled out in the middle of the runway. Not a good place for your squad to be. More artillery into this complex here with the descents. They get counter batteried pretty promptly. And these are firing at nothing, so bad trade there, and it looks like this might be about to go down. Taking some suppression. All for nothing. I bring in Acula forward to try to handle some of this. There's a lot of AA here, so you can see I keep it pretty far back, just in case there's a push. Both of us are making the noob mistake of building up instead of pushing. I could be pushing here. He could be pushing here for sure. He could definitely be pushing. I could definitely be pushing too, but yeah, this is questionable. So some more buildup of infantry. Some more artillery. Sort of mediocre on my part, very good on my opponent's part. Correctly deducing that I'm in this complex and hitting it. Looks like he switched targets though, went behind that. Not sure what he was looking for there. Maybe just the Eagle? No, looks like he thinks there might be some logistical zone over there. F40 Phantom charges in for the Aquila, as is common. And all of my Eagles essentially fail miserably. They do damage it, but good trade for him. I'm not very happy about that, and now I'm a little worried about this push. It does get completely caught out. You can see the sniper. Oh, and also the grenade launcher destroys those two infantry squads. Big waste for him. And I will say it gave me a bit of confidence when that happened, because I was like, what? That was not a very committed attack. So this is a little better. Not sure how he sees that. It is probably one of these supply trucks. So we've pushed him out of this complex, and now it's a matter of kind of who's going to move first. We'll speed it up. Bit of a lull here. Getting a ton of ATGMs. Looks like he has his, I don't know if he has that turned on intentionally. AT plane kills the tank, but does go down. Now I start hitting this with the artillery. Get some more ATGMs in position here. This actually opens up a lot of like pressure on him by getting all these ATGMs here. And I will slow it down again. At this point I do give a general advance into here, following that artillery barrage. Looking at the replay, it looks like that artillery barrage didn't do that much, but his presence in this building was less strong than I would have thought. AA is caught up behind this, and we are now pressuring this valuable zone over here. Of course, this is a 2-point zone, whereas this is a 1-point. This is a 1-point, so it's one of the reasons that that's more advantageous about pushing this, but at the same time it's way closer to their side of the map. So it's definitely riskier, higher risk, high reward to push this, but at this point I'm not feeling confident in my ability to push across this open ground like this. Whereas here we have a bit of a foothold in here. Mortar fire continues to come down. Not doing that much. Starting to question the efficacy of having that in the deck. Pull units back a little bit, trying to heal them. At this point in the late game there are a lot of units on the screen, so my ability to micro deteriorates. Nice sort of punitive artillery barrage here against this withdrawal. Good call on his part. ATGMs are killing the BMDs that are pushing forward. Okay, there we go. Good direct hit by the mortars. Toe is one hit. He's relying on his helicopters to defend against this, which, I mean, 101st Airborne has really good 101st Airborne has really good helicopters, so I think it's not necessarily an error. I think the main error on his part is not attacking. Errors on my part, I think at this point, are not having this supply ready to go. I've got supply back here. I could be doing this. Definitely there's a lull in my activity right here. You can see I get some ATGMs in here to try to stem any flood that comes like this, which really does give me the advantage because I at least have something that will kill stuff over here. Over here, if those helicopters go down, he's in trouble. Send out a Sneed plane to kind of put pressure on the AA web. You can see we're still in TIE territory, and there are 10 minutes left. So when it gets to 10 minutes in the game, just like you saw right there, there's a warning that pops off that often puts people into crunch mode. Mortars falling. Over here, start to deteriorate the air defenses right here as well. This is not for any offensive, but more to make it so that I can have an Acula or helicopters over here ready to shut down some kind of push. Big newbie pause once again. I think that's one of the things that is different between players who are, you know, on top of their game, and people that are kind of, both of us are about mid-level elo right now. He was about, well, we'll look at his elo. I think he's about 1400, and I was like 1400 in these games that I've played now that I'm back. I've gotten way higher in the ranking ladder, but honestly this felt like an even match right now, so I think I'm right about where I should be. Sends an Apache over here, sneaking. It completely gets through, so I deserve to have this happen to me. My AA is like undersupplied. I bring these rocket helos forward to get ready for the big push for this. I'm actually very curious what he sees here. He really does not see much at all, so big recon thing, and then I guess he just sees those grenade launchers pop up whenever he tries to push that, so he's having recon issues. Whereas, let's see if I have any room to speak. Yeah, so my recon's a little better. I can see what's going on a little better. He's pushing, he's punishing this build-up with artillery. I think he can see it coming forward, and now I give a general advance. Literally just drag Q is what I did. Very primitive attack, but at this stage in the game, with this like build-up stuff, it's pretty much all you can do, and also it's fun. Big push into this. Definitely taking some losses, but yeah, you can see the helicopter back here cleared up a bunch of stuff. I should have followed that a little better. It went in here, it killed my supply helo and some artillery, and then I route this Strela over here to try to deal with it, and it does take it out. But that definitely paid for itself. Did a lot of damage back there, caused some issues. Nice bombing run to try to interdict this. Pretty much everything in here gets wiped out, but I've got a lot of units pushing forward. Spetsnaz GRU in a pretty good position right here, with full vision of what's going on, giving me the confidence to push forward with these helicopters, and given the sort of suppression of the anti-air that I carried out, this is now a major issue. Everything's been cleared out. The helicopters do face a stinger. Gets pretty unlucky there, not killing it. Although maybe these arrow stingers might do less damage than normal. I think they do. So that's probably what's going on. Wounds 2 of them. Again, unlucky for them to not die if that's a normal stinger, but I think it's not a normal stinger. Brings it in Apache. But my AA has moved forward. When I give that Q move like that, for anyone who finds themselves doing that in the game, what you should do is give the Q move and then find all of the AA in there and micro them into buildings, into like good buildings, because what you don't want is your AA just marching forward and dying to infantry. The AA, everything else can kind of like sit there and run into things with an attack move, but the AA you don't want them attack moving forward. So I would, like you can see here, everything's moving forward, like forward march, but the AA is like paused in here, paused in here. This one's out of ammo now. So my opponent pushes across here with smoke and does get into here, giving him the +1. I've got a in here I've got a commander coming forward, so I'm not too worried. But what I haven't been really keeping track of is what units he has in reserve. Comes forward with fighter planes, kills one of my Sneeds. But there's a big massive infantry, and it looks like he doesn't have a ton to deal with it. Nice bombing run once again on a ton of infantry. Does a lot of damage, gets kind of unlucky there. But I get the +2 from taking this more valuable point. So now I have a command vehicle coming back in here, and it's really, I just need to clean this up. He's making like a major error by not committing more forces to that. He has these units he could be using, but there's a +2, 4 minutes left. Definitely not over. He could just dump a ton of points into here. I certainly have the tendency to, when things are tense like this, let the points build up. I sort of stop spending points. But that bombing run was not so good. Looks like he's suffering from vision issues. He has this jammer helo. But yeah, he's got AAA issues. And he sends his commander forward. And I'm actually not quite sure how it died. It looks like an ATGM from one of these helicopters does take it out. Okay. So helicopters are in a good position. He should be pushing this forward, and that might have fixed it, although, yeah, that certainly might have fixed it. Just like, you can see how oh, that has really bad range. I take out another helicopter. Now he's just left with the jammer helicopter, and we're at a +2. And I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to win, but at this point he does surrender. So just looking at the map, I think with the +3, which would turn into a +4, I would be able to win. But I don't know. I think he just got too worried about losing this and didn't understand that there was a yin-yang thing happening. But yeah, I thought he played quite well, and it looks like he was doing a Chinook spam. Was he out of commanders? No, he wasn't. Yeah, I think he just made an error, not pushing harder into this. I think he could have taken it if he'd done that. Which might not have won him the game, but at the very least he could get these engaging me and maybe pulling resources off of my attack into here. But easier said than done, and so he surrenders. You can see he killed way more than I did. Units that did well, these grenade launchers, definitely doing well. Conqueror's doing alright. Everything else kind of mid. This tow, oh, disgusting. Artillery doing pretty well. Yeah, his tows, ugh. Apache's doing really well. Yeah, he was playing well. And then, yeah, Big Iron. I don't know if I've played him before. I think I may have. Not a ton of games, so very, very well done for the amount of games he's played. I am currently right around the same rank. Oh, I've played more games than this. I've played 500 multiplayer games. Okay, he's played a lot of games as well. But anyway, GG, and I'll see you guys in the next one.